Let's go to Goodison Park in the wonderful maritime city of Liverpool, of course. They face Southampton. Southampton this season, so often you expect them, after their last 2 or 3 seasons, to be the best of the rest and maybe make a challenge into European football. I think that without Charlie Austin, though, they have obviously struggled for goals. Everton have been much better recently. Obviously, that win against Arsenal has probably given them a shot in the arm, the confidence that they need to be able to have a little bit of belief that they compete at the kind of level that you'd expect Everton to be at. And that is probably the best of the rest. Not top 4, but certainly one of the teams that could certainly try and get into the Europa League at the end of the season. Top of the table, an absolute must for the Toffees. I'm going to go for a victory. Romelu Lukaku in very good form at the moment. I think he will get a brace. And I'm going to go for Everton 2, Southampton 0. Let's turn our attentions to the Etihad Stadium. Manchester City against Burnley. If this were at Turf Moor, bearing in mind I thought that Manchester City were decidedly average against Liverpool and have been decidedly average in recent games, whether they've won, whether they've drawn, whether they've lost. I certainly don't think Pep Guardiola has got his message over to the players yet. I thought it was a very lacklustre performance against Liverpool, who closed the game out very well and had very little to do defensively, bearing in mind that their back four hasn't been exceptional this season. But this is at the Etihad Stadium. I fully expect Manchester City to put Burnley to the sword. Burnley, a side that are exceptional at home, and it looks like as if it's going to be their home form that keeps them in the division this season. But on away days, they've been absolutely woeful. I'm sure that Sean Dyche and his first-team coach, former teammate of mine, Ian Wone, are scratching their heads as to why they are so good at home but so poor away. I'm going to go for Manchester City 3, Burnley 0 in this one. Fairly straightforward for Pep's men in the early phase of the new year. Let's go to the Stadium of Light. Sunderland, they are massively up against it. Seems to be 1.5 steps forward, 2 or 3 back for David Moyes and his men. It might be one of these famous last rallies from Sunderland, the last 8 or 9 games of the season that sees them stay in the Premier League. But for now, they're struggling to score goals beyond Jermaine Defoe, struggling to keep clean sheets. And they face Liverpool. And for me, you have to say that Liverpool have perhaps pound for pound been the best team to watch. The team out of the top 4 or 5 that have translated their manager's vision into reality the most. Of course, Jurgen Klopp likes to press high, press often. No Philippe Coutinho, but Firmino has done exceptionally well. Daniel Sturridge coming off the bench. Sadio Mane, how will Liverpool respond to him going off to the African Cup of Nations, of course? I think in the short term, they'll be absolutely fine. They've got players on the bench, people like Divock Origi that could lead the line and play players in different positions. Adam Lallana, perhaps the best English player in the Premier League this season. I think that Sunderland will score. I think that Liverpool's recent record of decent clean sheets, I don't know, it's 2 or 3 in the last 4 games. I think it will be breached. Full house at the Stadium of Light, you would imagine. But I'm going to go Liverpool to absolutely blitz them. I'm going to go Sunderland 1, Liverpool 3 in that game. What about at the Hawthorns? This may be, for a lot of people, would have been one of those games that a lot of people perhaps would have expected to be a relegation 6-pointer around the halfway point. Not at all if you're an Albion fan. Going along great guns, very, very solid at home. Lots of dissent, it's fair to say, in the early part of the season for Tony Pulis. Under a little bit of pressure, under fire, losing against Northampton Town in the League Cup. But they're scoring goals, they're playing good football, they're keeping clean sheets. And against hapless Hull City, you cannot see anything other than West Bromwich Albion with a very solid defence, keeping that clean sheet and winning the game comfortably. I'm going West Bromwich Albion 3, Hull City 0. Welcome to Boyle Sports. Join today, place a tenner bet, and you'll get 20 quid in free bets. Come on!